Good evening. It's Sunday night, and that means it's time for Agent Paranormal. Thank you for joining us, and I am joined in studio tonight by Rich, and Todd is running the desk in production.
Yeah, he's trying to anyway. It's one of those nights.
You know, what's Agent Paranormal on a Sunday if we don't have some kind of gremlins?
We are experiencing technical difficulties.
Here it is. We're ready for tonight, and why don't we just jump right into it and introduce our guests. So tonight we have our brothers from up north, from the St. Regis Mohawk Reservation, the Native American or Native Indian, whatever you guys want to be called, investigators Chris and Aaron Terrance. Chris and Aaron, thanks for joining us.
Not a problem. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Well, it's been a couple of years since we had you guys on. That was right in the middle of quarantine, so I'm lacking a bar, but
it's starting to open up. Everything's starting to open back up. I can't wait. But,
so what have you guys been up to?
Not much, really. I ended up leaving my job. I worked at the casino for 17 years, and with all the I don't know how to say it, like the entitlement from the guests and like the attitude, it made me I had to get out of there. Like when you're telling people to put their masks on and a little old lady rolls her eyes at me, I wanted to punch her in the face, and I'm not like that at all. I was like, you know what, I gotta get out of here. I'm done. So I left, and it was best decision I made. Nice. A lot more time for traveling. That's basically what I've been doing, is just traveling, like not going to like conventions or anything like that, but we've been going to a lot of like haunted bed and breakfasts. Went to Ohio State, the reformatory. That was amazing. That was cool. Just stuff like that, you know what I mean?
I met Amy Bruni.
Nice. Nice. How was that?
Huge crush on me. Like, I swear to God, we went to go meet her, right? Like, we were in Michigan. And
it was horrible.
She had her table up or whatever. So Aaron walks up, and he's like, so I had to run up and make sure he used full sentences. And I was like,
Spit
I'm sorry. Yeah. I was like, go ahead, Aaron, ask for her autograph. He's like, can I have an autograph?
Felt like that kid. I like turtles.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So how you guys been?
We can't complain. We're trying to stay busy as we can down here. We got a few things going on.
Rich, you're awful quiet tonight. What's going on, man?
I know. I'm usually the one that's a chatterbox. I don't shut the frig up, but tonight I'm just...
You tired or something? What's going on?
I'm trying to figure out why my name's Pete.
I know. And that's Kevin.
And Kevin's on the desk.
I just saw that. I just realized that.
It's one of those nights.
Well, at least they got my name right.
Yeah,
so.
It's one of those nights.
We know whose show it is, right? We know whose show it is.
That's right.
How many times did that John Candy reference come up to you in your everyday life ever since they brought it up? Honestly.
Oh, my God.
How many times have you heard it?
Many times.
So we are talking John Candy, huh?
It was like the next day, somebody started talking about John Candy just out of nowhere. And I was like, all right, so we're going to be talking about John Candy.
Yeah.
I just saw...
Turn on NBC News and there it is.
I just saw the movie he did, Great Outdoors.
Yep.
Love that movie. The part I caught, was talking about the bear story he was telling about, where he shot him.
Big bear chased me.
That was awesome. That's a great movie.
Yeah, we were just talking about his last one, I believe, Wagons East.
Yep.
And
Never
They're
saw it.
talking about that. There was a tribe in there, and one of the warriors were called Little Feather. He was embarrassed about his name. So he goes, his father's chief. He goes, Dad, can you change my name? I'm embarrassed. None of the girls are talking to me. So he changes his name to Big Snake that make women faint. Then he had that was a great movie. There's a lot of characters that are like stars now in it.
You have to check it out.
Yeah.
Netflix it. Hopefully it's on Netflix. Now we've been starting to break out of the COVID grasp. We've been doing some events. We've got a few more scheduled.
Cases are coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, we're starting to get requests. We have a case we're potentially going to work on up in Fulton County, a property that they believe has got some ties to the Underground Railroad. And there's apparently they've had some paranormal people in there that said there's stuff going on. No one caught any findings. Therefore, there's no evidence. So before the owner's like, well, before we tell people it's haunted or do anything, we want to have some concrete evidence. We want to,
It's usually a good idea.
Yeah, a professional team like you to come in and do an investigation and come up with some stuff. So we said sure, but they want some waivers and stuff to be signed because the property's old and obviously they don't want to be responsible if we trip and fall and take a board through the heart or a nail through the eye or whatever, and which is completely understandable because when we do our events, many times we have our guests sign waivers, just because the properties that we do are old, we have no control or don't oversee the condition, so we're inviting you as guests, so sign a waiver. I remember one time one person got really upset about it. I'm not signing that, and I just looked at him and said, well, then you're not coming in. I go, it's outside of my control. I don't own the place. This is what the proprietors want you to do.
One less person we got to babysit.
So I think we just gave them their money back and said have a nice night. I get it, whatever. Yeah. I just don't want the negativity as part of the event. So if you're going to be negative, just move along.
Exactly.
But
see, like the places that we investigate are like old. Like obviously you guys know a lot of places are hundreds of years old, whatever. Imagine being 6'6", over 400 pounds. Walking in rickety buildings, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I know what you mean, man.
You're always checking the floor in front of you.
They're like, you got to sign 2 waivers.
Well, there's one Rucker mansion I don't think he should go into.
No.
The other one he'd be okay. But
we tried to get him to get up on Rose Hill or Rose Island Lighthouse.
Top of Rose Island Lighthouse.
I barely made it through. Looked like Winnie the Pooh Bear trying to get through the tree. But I did it.
Yeah, the people were
now I have that vision in my head. That's crazy.
The people were so much smaller back in those days. We have an event coming up in Fulton County Museum, and they have like uniforms from World War II and World War I soldiers. They look like kid outfits. I'm like, you kidding me? I'm like, I go 235. There's no way I couldn't even get one of those uniforms around one of my arms.
Yeah.
They were small people. Now that explains a lot to me when I go in places and the doors are so narrow and things are so tight because they were so little back then. There were no 235-pound people, let alone 400 people back in those days. You know what I mean?
You guys obviously been to Salem, right? Salem, Massachusetts, right?
Yep.
You know that house at the Seven Gables place?
Yeah.
So when I walked in, like when we did the tour, and I'm standing in the first room, my head's literally like this, like the ceiling's right here. So I'm hanging on to the top of the door like this. And my head's like this. So everybody's looking at me laughing or whatever. And then you go into the back part where you have to go up the stairs, those little stairs. Yeah, no. I couldn't fit through it.
Not happening.
I don't know how anybody fit through there. It's ridiculous. But speaking of that, like when we went to Ohio, the reformatory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys ever been there. The middle part is the largest freestanding cell block or whatever. I can't remember how they explained it. But it's 7 stories. So none of that metal's been changed. None of it. Like it's still the same old wrought iron railing and everything. So I'm up on the 7th floor, which is, 70, 80 feet high. And the railing goes up to my hip. I'm like, in the dark, No, I went back downstairs. Not at all.
You made
Well,
it to the
fun.
bottom quick.
Yeah.
Man down, man down.
So my girlfriend and her friend were up on the 7th floor doing that. So I was like, just to prove that it's not me being scared of the ghost or anything like that, I went down to the 2nd floor and there was nobody there. So I just went around the cell block by myself, just to prove to myself that it wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't a ghost scaring me or whatever.
Yeah.
I had to prove it to myself.
So you guys said you did an
Okay.
investigation last night?
Yeah.
Where was this?
So it's probably like 5 minutes up the road from us. The occupant recently just passed away, and the new people that are in there, the first night they saw somebody standing in the doorway. They heard crying down at the end of the hall. It just that first night though. So we got called over there, went to go check it out. So that's when we brought the SLS camera.
New toys,
And,
yes.
Yeah, a new toy. And I'm still up in the air about it. I do like it, but I don't know how accurate it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But last night when what happened was it was kind of leaned me towards that I actually believe it. So he's going down the hall. He has a camera. He has an SLS camera, and he stops and he looks in the bathroom, and then he sees a wire figure laying on the floor. So he starts talking to it. Then it gets up and it looks like it crawls backwards up the wall into the corner.
In the meantime, I had my medicine on me.
Yeah, the native medicine. You know what I mean?
So what it's looking like is it's backing up. Like,
Yeah.
What's going this? What's this?
Like it was scared. So the figure itself is like hanging on the wall, but then it starts touching the window. And so he goes over to the window and he hits the window. Then all of a sudden the thing disappears, and then it reappears outside near the tree. And it wasn't like it got small and then it was still in the room. It was, you could see the wire figure, but then the window still cut it off the rest of the body. It was outside. So I still can't explain that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
that's
was, it was
weird.
cool to see with the SLS so far.
I was doing a little something traditional, but I really can't go into that part. But it was like I grabbed it and I threw it out. That's basically what I was saying to it. And when it appeared out by the tree, it stayed out there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
I don't.
with the backup asset or whatever that camera is, I can never say it.
SLS.
SLS.
And it backed up that. I said, "Did you see that?" I said, "No, you guys believe me."
Actually got it on camera. Not the SLS camera didn't record, but I got it like recording from behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to send it to him one of these days and you can check it out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So the owner or the people that are there said that he heard crying. So all that day before we went there, Aaron was hearing crying, like in the house or whatever, like
Yeah,
at his own house.
It was driving my wife nuts and my kids. I'm like, nobody hears that. They're like, we don't hear nothing.
Wow.
So yeah, it was weird. So then we got there and whatever was there, it wasn't in the house, it was outside. And so my sister-in-law was using this the spirit box with the word generator, and the name Charles came up. So he contacted the owners prior to the person that died. And they said that the person that lived there, his name was Charles Henry. And he died, he worked at Alcoa, he died of an infection or whatever, but he died there.
60 years ago, he died.
And then there was somebody else that died got hit by a car on the road right next to the house. So he said he picked up on Charles and the guy that died, and then the guy that got hit by a car, and then the previous owner that died. They were all there still.
Wow.
And I never claimed to be psychic or anything. I just, it's what I was taught how to handle stuff.
Right.
And, I call it the gut feeling.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Everybody can do it. The gut feeling.
Yep. That's the one piece of equipment that everybody's got to know how to use, right? Is their gut.
Mine's bigger than others, though.
It's just, it means it's more sensitive, right? You know, you got a lot of lot of area to work with. You know, it's like a radar dish at that point.
You got that feeling? No, that's just taco.
Hunger or
some Pepto, and I'll be all right. Yeah.
For the most part, it's hunger, but yeah.
Right. Travis asked if you guys bought your SLS or you built it.
No, we had to end up buying it.
Nice.
I couldn't even tell you how to build it.
Yeah, I think Travis built
pricey,
his.
but...
Travis builds all his stuff. So, yeah, it's
really?
weird technology. I mean, it's like when you see those things crawling up a wall like that. How is it? You know, the technology was made to map out a human figure, right? It's for gaming, right?
Yeah.
It's Xbox. Yeah. So what is it? You know, why is it doing that? I guess I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if the software's been manipulated in those things or not to do that. Does anybody know? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
I have no clue.
Yeah, and like when you said it was cut off. What's that?
Yeah.
And why do they dance all the time?
Yeah, they are.
I've seen a lot of it where, you know, people are like freaking out and you could tell it's like it caught, like I saw one and it caught a poster in the background and you could tell it picked up the head and the shoulders. There was a person in the poster. It's like, no, dude, you see that poster in the background? That's what it's picking up, you know? So, but just some of the stuff is so really like weird. And it was weird when you said that it cut it off at that, when it was outside or something like that. It's like, well, it's not seeing the feet. So how is it that's what I don't understand. How's it mapping out the whole body? It's odd. It must be modified.
Like somebody standing outside.
Yeah. It
was cool.
Travis will probably chime in and tell me that I'm sure he will that it's been the software's been modified or something. So
I'd love to understand all that. Like I'd love to get into that.
But
I haven't gotten into that machine that much.
Just the sheer coincidence of me doing that motion and tapping the window, and then it's outside, and that's the camera. Can never.
SLS. We're gonna get it by the end of the night. We are gonna get it.
I hope so.
Work with me, S. L. S. There you go.
If you guys can't tell already,
we're halfway there.
His mind trying to password in his mouth. You know what I mean?
So last night I'm just trying to go on my gut feeling, and then I just go. And then he's like, "What are you reciting?"
Yeah. You be talking away, and then all of a sudden you go, "Oh my God." Hello?
Max
headroom. You know, and only us would get that Max headroom reference.
Right. Dating ourselves.
My kids go, "Who's that?"
Yeah, Max who?
Yeah.
Yep.
So you guys use that? You guys have that camera? You said?
Yeah, Travis has one. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like I said, I'd like to look into the technology more, the app that it's actually running. You know, what it's doing to see, because like I said, you see some of those things crawling up the wall. It's like, what? How's it mapping that? You know, and first of all, what the hell is that? You know, seeing some of these things morph into some insane looking things. So
he's got a few things on a couple of investigations. And then the other one where he found the figure that was violating Pete, but
yeah. Speaking of Pete,
didn't say no.
No, he had a big smile on his face.
He went home and cried in the shower.
Yeah. Scrubbed for hours.
You know,
he's Ace Ventura.
Forever unclean.
Pete just popped in. He said, "Tell Aaron I still love him."
All right.
You know, everyone I've known who's had one of those, and the reason why I haven't personally invested any money into them is they always seem to have an issue with them freezing up or having issues getting them going. So I just, you know, to me, it's still like, I don't know, still very, very experimental. So there must be some type of software, some software compatibility or whatever. I mean, I know I've seen Travis use it, and he caught some good stuff, but I've also seen him struggle with it a few times trying to get it to boot up and stuff. So, you know, if it has anything to do with, if it's got anything to do with Microsoft, it's always going to have a problem, as far as I'm concerned.
The same thing, because you know how, like, if you talk about something, then you get on your phone and there it is on your phone.
Right.
And that SLS camera. I got it.
Yeah, yeah. So
It might
proud
be
of you.
the same thing, you know. Never know.
Right.
Software.
There was
Tonight.
Nicole had one too, and she
Yep.
was using it, and she used to have some issues with it. I mean, Travis made his, I think. Nicole bought hers online from one of the ghost places. No, she bought it from eBay. That was eBay. There was a guy that was building ghost stuff, and she bought it from him. And then she had some issues with it too as well. So, and they're not cheap too. I mean, the ones I looked at like $500. I'm like, it's. I would really need to justify using that thing every time I did an investigation.
So what's your? Go ahead.
Oh no! So I say I bring it everywhere. Like if you go on there investigation, definitely.
What's your go-to
never
tech?
using that at home.
Yeah. What's your go-to tech? What do you bring? What's the one you mainly take out with you?
I just like my camera, like my my night vision camera, and obviously recorder and stuff. But I usually just mainly use him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got my back.
Yeah. Like I don't know. It's weird because I go for a lot of the places we go to. I go to because of the history. I love the history of like old buildings. You know, like that Allegiant bed and breakfast. It was a 49-room mansion. You know what I mean? And I love like the old structures, old architecture, stuff like that. So I'll just walk around with my camera by myself, and if I catch something, I catch something. If I don't, I don't. You know what I mean? So
I'm usually waiting for breakfast.
For the most part, it's the history is what I love about it. You know what I mean? So it's just me and my camera.
No, I like the science side of it. I don't understand all the I just use my phone to record. I have a old school looking app that looks like the old recorders, and I use that, and it works perfect. But what I would like to try is Amy Bruni and Adam's method. That one where they're separate and they're answering questions. That caught my eye, honestly. I was like,
yes. Weren't we talking about that last time? And the last show when you guys were building the spirit box, And did we ever come up with the name of that method? I forgot already. I forgot it already.
Were they covering their eyes and everything?
It's the Bruni method. Yes.
It's the Gansfeld experiment. It's the Gansfeld.
Gansfeld. Okay. Yeah. So that's a very interesting. I've yet to try it, and I want to really.
I've done that a few times. Cool. We had a setup before with our previous group, and I actually set it up so that I had my digital camera set up on me, and I sat in a room by myself with the Gansfeld experiment on, and I had my digital remote for the camera, and then if I felt something or heard something, I just hit the button and it'd automatically take a picture. I mean, nothing really happened, but I was set up in the death room at Rucker 1.
Death room. Death room.
There's a setup for him.
It's a fun little experiment. It's like feel how everything changes. I mean, we set up for it. We're in Salem Con. We were in Salem doing the Salem Con, and I just started doing the Gansfeld in the middle of the conference center. And it's a nice conversation piece. People walk by and they're like, "What the hell is he doing?" And okay, well, he's doing the Gansfeld experiment. It's basically it's sensory deprivation, stuff like this. And at one point, I felt like there was somebody like right in front of me, so I just kind of like swatted. And apparently, it was right after Pete walked in front of me, and I swatted right at him, but I just missed him. So it's weird how everything happens.
I think we're talking about two different things, though. No. They're talking about the one where they sit there and Adam will ask one of them wear a spirit box in a headset and blindfolds, and the other person is asking questions to the spirit box, and then the person with the spirit box on is just spitting out what they hear because they don't know the questions. Okay, that's what they're doing. Yeah. So I think it's a little different than what you're talking about. No,
maybe. I mean, it sounds like it's a hybrid kind of thing.
Yeah. It's very interesting though, and some of the stuff that they get out of it. You're right, guys. It's really cool. Yeah. It's amazing.
I don't know if I could do the destination fear thing to sleep there because I just end up falling asleep. I could sleep anywhere.
We're going to Aaron.
When we were in Shanley Hotel. I might have mentioned that before, but we were in the Shanley Hotel and we stayed overnight. and I was staying in the room where allegedly an older gentleman killed a young girl in the bathroom of this one room we were in. And I tell you, best night's sleep I've ever had. Like I woke up refreshed. It was great. You know what I mean? Like I didn't feel anything. But speaking of that, we were in Ohio, and we were investigating the what is that? Solitary confinement. You know, the area for solitary confinement. But I've never felt so welcomed in the place. It was weird. It was a weird feeling. Like I could have sat by myself in the room all night and it wouldn't have bothered me one bit. You know what I mean? I don't know if has that ever happened to you guys? Like, have you ever felt welcome where you shouldn't have felt?
Yep.
You shouldn't have felt welcome. You know what I mean? It was a weird feeling.
I felt.
I might sound stupid right now, but
I've been to a lot of places where like it just feels really oppressive. I don't like being here. I'm like, I am super comfortable in here.
Yeah.
So
I feel
maybe I'm just that kind of messed up person, but whatever.
well, we gotta be when we do stuff like what we do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
We're all a little touched, I guess.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, I'm also the one that they're like, well, the spirit doesn't like you standing in that corner. It's like, well, that's where I'm going to stand. See you later.
That's why we're here. Yeah, that's exactly why we're here. You know,
like all the places we stayed, I've seen stuff, and I've told them, and it's like cool, you know. But it's just like personal experiences. And Rose Island, I woke up and I looked, and there was like. I don't know if you remember that. Well, my kids did it. Flat Stanley. They go to different spots, and they had a cutout gingerbread man like thing on a stick, and they take a picture. Flat Stanley was here.
Yep.
And that's what it looked like on the wall, you know. And then I went back to sleep.
You saw Flat Stanley on the wall, huh?
Yeah, and then I just went back to sleep. But that's how I can describe it. And even Chris's girlfriend, when I was in Rolling Hills. I said that.
What'd you see, Waldo?
Yeah. What the lady called was walkers or crawlers. So I said, all right. So I caught a big glimpse of it, and I'm like, it's a huge, meaty staple. If you want to really look what it looked like, and then his girlfriend, great, we're being haunted by office supplies now.
he said it was like this, and it was walking like that, like a big staple, I guess. Yeah.
And we have things like that.
It's the best way you can describe it, I guess.
That's a great name.
So when did you
staple monster?
When did you guys do Rolling Hills?
I actually went for my birthday. I think 2 years ago. It was like 2 or 3 years ago.
So you actually you had some experiences there.
Yeah. And even with the camera there, the SLS camera. That lady started talking about tall man there. That Roger maybe. No, I can't remember the name. Ray or something. He's Ray. 7 foot. And then a big figure like that showed up in the kitchen.
Wow.
And then we smelled bleach, like somebody was just cleaning that. And she goes, I haven't cleaned down here at all.
That's wild.
Yeah, we never got any. I was sort of disappointed when we went there. I mean, I was excited because the place was big. It's a lot bigger than it looks. And there's like all these levels, and you're down in the morgue, then you're up in like doctors' offices, and then it looks like you're walking down a modern like insane asylum. I mean, there's toilets. They look like they're relatively like 20 years old, and there's libraries, and there's wheelchairs out in the hallways. So, I mean, I thought for sure that we would capture something there because, I mean, it's a place that a lot of people go to. And I think it's been featured on a lot of the shows, but we just didn't really. I mean, we thought we saw things, but again, it could be our eyes playing tricks on us. But we thought in the morgue that we were seeing things running back and forth down the hallway. But again, it could be a play on light. But what's really interesting, the lady that owns the place, when we get there, she goes through our bags and everything to make sure we don't have any drugs or whatever. But the funniest thing is at the time we had a member of our group that showed up late, and she's actually friends with the owner. I mean, they know each other by name. And when she got there, she came up, oh my God, how are you? And they hugged each other, and then she went to go in. She goes, I need your ID. She goes, what do you mean I'm ID? I need to check your ID. She said, what do you mean? I've been here a bunch of times and we're friends. She would not let her go in there until she checked her ID, even though they knew each other. I was like, wow.
Stickler to her own rules, I guess.
Yeah, what caught my ear was the whole, do not exercise any of the spirits or send them, cross them over or anything like that. I'm like,
leave our spirits alone.
Oh, she never said that to us, but I think somebody had some pills or medication, and she said, you can't bring it in here. The Girl Scouts could eat it. I'm like, what? Pete told me that.
That was actually Pete. I think it was his diabetic medicine.
Yeah, Pete had some medication with him, and she would not let him bring it in, and he needed it, you know?
Girl Scouts might eat it.
And I guess the explanation that she gave him was like, well, you know, if the pills got left here, a Girl Scout could pick it up and eat it or something like that. It's like, what Girl Scout do you know would just pick up a pill off the ground? My Chihuahua wouldn't even do that.
What are they doing there for one?
It was just so strange, you know. The interaction we had was just so strange. But I mean, I tell everybody to go there because it is a pretty cool place.
It's amazing.
And she'll let you investigate till like 4 a.m. or something. I mean, we were there a long time, which most places are like, you know, they want you out like midnight or so, but we were there for quite a long time.
But you know, I didn't want to say nothing to her, and maybe she's watching, but I wanted to tell her that her house is more active than the actual building. The house she lives in. Yeah, I kept pointing to it, and she goes, "No, that's where I live." And I says, "Yeah, you got a lot back there, don't you?" And she admitted to it, but you know, it's more active outside than in there.
She's also really into aliens.
Yeah,
she showed me some pictures of some aliens and stuff that she believes are in there.
Some aliens?
So
really?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's alien spirits, she said.
Yeah, alien spirits. She showed us a few pictures too, which it was cool, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own beliefs. I'm not knocking it. If that's what she believes, that's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a pretty cool place. Like I said, we were there. Chris Moon was there, and Chris and Paulette Moon were there, powerful psychic mediums, and they were getting some stuff out of their box, their telephone of the dead. They're getting responses and stuff, you know, for different places. But then we wandered around. You can actually get lost in there. I mean, we kind of. A couple of times we got twisted up. We're like, wait a minute, were we just down this hallway? You know, and then there was other people there, and all of a sudden you're like, you can hear people walking and all these different, the sound just bounces around there. And it was just so weird because like we got through this old, like really old area, then we come out, looked like almost like a modern hospital that was just like abandoned. And we're walking down the hallway, and it's like, this is sort of weird. It's like we went from one time era to another. You know, and we went into like resource rooms where there's books and stuff and TVs and thing, and then there's like across there's like showers and everything, and then it was just weird. Then we keep walking, and the next thing you know, we're in these old like doctors' offices or I think like their bedrooms or stuff where they used to stay there and live and stuff. Yeah, it was interesting. All the different. You know, and it doesn't look that big when you come up on it. It doesn't. It's weird because you look at it, it's like, okay, this is kind of cool, but then you get inside of it, like, my God, this place is huge.
It's like the TARDIS.
I took pictures of the relic in there, the Ghost Adventures X's from their duct tape on the floor.
Oh,
she pointed out that those were from that. I was like, cool.
They even had weddings there. I was like, that's an idea.
Yeah, she's got. There's like a nice big cafeteria room down there, and that's where we did an event there, and they served food. They brought food in and everything. It was pretty good. And then they have like a little like church in there too as well, like with you know, an altar and stuff. You know, where basically where they go to have like mass and stuff. So it's got everything there. You know, it really does.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we had the whole place to ourselves on the whole night. We were in just our group.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. My birthday. Great.
Yeah, I got caught wandering around. I'm pitch black. I'm just walking, you know, like walking around. I tend to just like wander. Then I feel this big hand. Get over here.
I have to rein them in every now and then.
And I fall in a well. Yeah. Halfway anyway.
Just pop a hole in the floor, just like with his pool. You know?
Are they still doing events there and stuff with like Steve and Tango and all those guys? They started that back
I
up.
know they're still doing events, but I don't know if they're doing that at Rolling Hills. I think they just had an event in New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. So here's the big question: have you guys been to the Hinsdale house?
No, not yet. We talked about it last time, and I still haven't gone there.
That's your next birthday present.
I would love to. When are you guys going there next?
I want to clean that house. I seen the house.
Did you?
That house has my name on it.
Did you see just recently they had the pipes broke or something?
Yeah,
right?
pipes burst. Somebody turned the heat off.
Really bad damage. From,
Yeah.
Somebody turned the heat off when they left, and it froze, and the pipes froze, unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy.
There was another place I wanted to check out too. It was this guy. There's no room for the two of us on the screen. Everybody else
You're pushing him back so that he could be on there, but we've only seen half your face the entire time.
For the most part.
Now we see less of you.
There we go.
All right.
How's that? All right, there we go. That's 100 pounds of face right there in that picture.
Come on, your brothers, get closer.
And like that 1970s pictures, I know everybody in this room has them. You know, the one head on the bottom and then the other one.
Oh, the one looking off? Yeah, no, I didn't have
Like stepbrothers. Yeah.
I remember seeing him at everybody's house. I didn't have one of those, but
Yeah.
Awesome.
So anybody have any investigations that has to do with our field of expertise lately?
We've got nothing right now, but I mean, you're our first call when it comes to that kind of stuff.
yeah, we haven't had anything in a while. Of course, it's been slow anyway in general, but
Yeah.
See, in that, what I've been trying to tell everybody is, you know, I know a lot of people talk about crossing them over and this and that and whatever, you know, like he said, what are their own beliefs? But I try to tell people it's about living with them. It's about living with the ghost. It's keep not quiet. How do you say it? Calming them down, and so the living people can live.
right.
You know, and then every 3 months you gotta remind them, or once a year you will remind them, you know, that it's your space, your area. And in fact, that's what I told the people last night about. You know,
It's all appeasement.
if something startles you, don't be afraid of it.
Yep.
Confront it and say, "This is mine." And if you're afraid of it, then let more of their friends in. And that's what I had to explain to the people last night.
How did they take it? I mean, what was ultimately, what are they ultimately looking for? They're trying to clear it out, or just you're trying to give them a peace of mind, that type of thing?
I think both. Like,
Mind you, the person is 19 years old.
Yeah.
You know, he just rented the place
By himself?
So,
him and his cousin. Yeah.
yeah.
So
They're gonna have.
I think I don't think it was like him looking to clear him out. I think he wanted to know basically that he wasn't, you know, he wanted
Crazy.
validation. Like,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
he wants other people to know that he saw this too, and he's not crazy.
Right. Right. You need a little evidence for the parties when he's telling the stories at parties. He's like, yeah, you think I'm bullshitting you? Check this out.
Yeah. He was definitely intrigued because he was standing right next to me when that thing with the SLS camera was going on. I don't think he believed that at first, but then he saw that and he was like, "Oh wow," you know, definitely intrigued.
I get the same looks, like, "Oh yeah, okay," but I'm not playing off like 1-800 psychic. You know, I'm not. What the hell's her name?
Cleo.
I was just going to say that.
Miss Cleo.
I was just going to say that.
But, you know, like I say, I go on my gut, and a lot of the stuff I told him was right on the money, and, you know, he's like, you know, and I can't get into a lot of stuff we talk about because some of the stuff was traditional, but he was by the time of our investigation was done, one, he was calmer. Two, he understood what was going on in his house. And three, he took back his house.
Yep.
You know, he left the garage alone. That's a whole different story.
Oh,
I told him about the garage, but I said, you don't have nothing to do with that garage right now.
Right now, the person who owned the house previously, after he passed, all this stuff was put in the garage, waiting for the family members to go through it. And
When we showed up there, I looked. I was like, hey, that's a Marine insignia. I said, any of those guys in that house Marine? And he's like, no. I said, he wants that down. I said, even on the other side, they're proud to be a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine for them guys. You know, and I was like, I'd tell the family and meet to honor him that way.
Sure.
But we knew the old owner. He was cool. He was a real cool guy.
Oh, you knew the guy from before.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's for a big community. It's small here. You know what I mean? Like, we knew everybody knows everybody here. You know?
Sure.
Yeah, when we throw out little things like any stories and what's going on in your house, and we always get this people, why you gotta stir things up? So we're not trying to stir things up. We're trying to help.
Right.
So,
Trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
There's people
don't like talking about it.
There's people who basically we've consulted with, and they asked what will happen if you start investigating. Will things get stirred up? We're like, yeah, there's a good chance of that. I mean, we're trying to help you, but I mean that could be a possible side effect of it. You know, if there's a spirit in the house and the spirit's been trying to reach out to you and you've been scared of it and then reached out for help, and we come in and all of a sudden we're communicating with it, it'll be like, oh, somebody actually does get me. Somebody actually does hear me. You know, so it could get a little weird. And then a lot of times they're just like, no, we don't want that, so we'll just, you know.
Live in denial. And
just, you know, don't call us, you know, that kind of thing. And then there's times when we do a case when people are like, we need help, please. We need to know what's going on. And then we come back and we're like, well, this is, our evidence points to this. I mean, again, it's not scientific. It's just evidence points to this. And they're like, oh, like, okay, we're fine. Just leave it alone. You can live with it now? Yeah, because now they have some idea. It's not, you know, it's not what, you know, Ghost Adventure showed, where it was like, you know, the D word, you know, it's, you know, and I think reality TV really gave people some, I mean, if you have to base your paranormal knowledge on what you see on reality TV and the paranormal, it's going to scare the crap out of you. You know, it truly is. And that's why when you reach out to someone like you guys or someone like us, we come in and they're like, is it a demon? Was it a demon? I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
Right.
But this is kind of what we found, you know? But it's just amazing how many times I think I have a demon. Why? Because I got scratched. That doesn't mean there's a demon.
Right.
Well, I think it's a demon because the forks were turned the other way.
Right. It's trying to tell you something.
Well, I saw this one episode of this show, and they said because the fork was turned this way that means something demonic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no, stop. Just turn that off for a while. Let us come in and let us do our thing, and before you jump to any kind of serious conclusions like that.
Well, if there's a demon in your house, before we get there, go down and buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of on the same level. We were in Michigan, and we met up with some other investigators there, and we. They went up on stage doing their question and answer and stuff, and then they brought up the Mohawk Nation, and they said, "Oh, they're in the back over there." So we waved, you know, thank you, you know, that's cool, you know, thanks. And then first thing I get, somebody come up to me asking about Wendigos.
Yeah, skinwalkers and
stuff. You know, and that's along the same lines of the demon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep, sure is.
Yeah.
It's like the Wendigo was a Cree Nation thing, and what made it popular was in around 1900, a Cree chief was going around following the spirit Wendigo and killing the people it was going in, and his body count was like 25 people before Canada stopped him.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm like, we have something like that, but it doesn't go into somebody.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
And then so Skinwalker Ranch and everything.
yeah, it
Skinwalker
just
Ranch.
adds to it.
Yeah. Blind frog. Yeah.
But then it becomes real because people put faith in it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's real. And then it becomes real.
Create it.
And they're wondering,
You know, it's interesting you say that they give it recognition, right? Faith and stuff like that. I was talking to someone who's in the demonology field, and one of the things they told me is that the one weapon that they use is to not give it recognition. They said by giving it recognition is acknowledging it, and that's what it wants. By not giving it recognition, not naming it, and not, basically, recognize any things it done, it helps. I don't the right word I'm using, but essentially it helps diffuse the situation. So, like the Slender Man, everyone was believing in the Slender Man, so now the Slender Man, so many people believed it. That's the theory, right? All these people believed it, so it materialized, the Slender Man.
It came to be because of that. Yeah.
So, and that's why people who are in this field deeper than us, they basically go with under the influence of, like, they don't give it recognition. They find a way to go around it to work a case, but they don't give it recognition, which I thought was kind of interesting.
we just had a sighting of quote unquote Slender Man, but it's what we call a wood demon. There we go with the wood spirit. They're tall.
Yep.
You sure it wasn't Flat Stanley?
I know, right? they're like an alien face, and they're things from the woods. They're the keepers of the woods, like Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
They catch pictures of the guy, but they'll never catch him because he lived so long ago. It's like what do they call that when it's recorded in the ground and it plays everyone residual.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a spirit to us. Now the Slender Man, what they take and they call it that, but what it is, it's a wood spirit. I've seen it. I've gotten up and I looked outside and I see this big, tall, pale creature running down my road. Dog's going nuts, and as soon as it gets in front of my house, the dog's quiet right down, and I'm staring right at this thing, and then it ran down the road. And I asked some of the clan mother about it, and she told me the name, and it's more or less like something's gonna happen.
Maybe
Sign of things to come.
Maybe it's out for a nightly jog. It's out for its nightly exercise routine.
It's just Flat Stanley jog.
And after I seen that, I had one hell of a summer. So it was not. It was a roller coaster this summer. But they say when you see stuff like that, then that something's gonna happen, or if a bird hits your window, something's gonna happen. But it has to be a certain bird.
Okay, since we have them on the show, let's jump into the question that I want to ask. It's on my mind. Where do you stand on Bigfoot?
I was just going to ask Sasquatch. Yep.
What is
ask that?
Okay, because I'm a huge. I've been studying the Sasquatch phenomenon, Bigfoot, all that kind of stuff. Everything from the TV shows, YouTube clips to, even finding Bigfoot on Animal Planet, which they still have never found. But where do you stand? Because a lot of times they talk about the folklore and the Native American belief of it and the purpose that it serves. These guys, investigators, just think it's a big wild creature running around, surviving. And many times when they talk to the Native Americans or people in there, that it serves a purpose. It's there for a reason.
I think they are Sasquatches.
All right.
There's a whole family of them up there.
I'm that little one at the end.
All right, so tell us, where do you stand? Where do you stand on that?
I believe it's a spirit. I believe it's a protector, another woodland protector. Certain areas have their own protection. protectors. Like one of our rivers here, the little people are protectors of that. They're along the same line as Bigfoot. They're along the same line as the New Jersey Devil. It just got a new name. It's been there since the beginning of time. And all these other new names that they give him, Bigfoot. You know, he's been there since the beginning of time. You know, his spirit's there because I believe they did once walk there, and now there are the ancestors. They're the spirits. You catch them on film. We catch ghosts on film,
but you'll never catch one like
In real
you'll never
life.
see one.
Yeah, they don't. They don't.
Slimer left flying, so he leaves hair.
Yeah, they never find a dead one anywheres. They don't. I mean, I read some stuff, some articles about how they found, you know, the excrement and stuff like that. And they found like shelters and stuff, but you know, that were built, but they just never found one.
There's a toenail, apparently.
You know, there's a what?
There's a toenail, apparently.
Oh, I didn't know about the toenail. I
there's a
did some more
toenail.
research.
We'll talk about it. There's unknown DNA of you know, that's. Yeah, I forgot where I saw it, but
I mean, it's very plausible that it is a bipedal ape type creature that's been around since, you know, a long, long time ago. I mean, they have found this Gigantopithecus, I think is what they call it. They found the skeletons. I mean, up in I think in the Himalayas, or, you know, in Asia, and some, I think, in North America. And when the continents were connected, the theory is that they migrated, you know, down through the land bridge through Alaska and then down into Canada and the United States. They're very nomadic, you know, and very, very large. So it's quite plausible that they could have survived. You know, what really would be a predator for something like that, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, you know, species of apes and stuff are extremely intelligent, a lot more intelligent than people think. And everybody's always like, why haven't we found a dead one? Well, quite honestly, there's a lot of animals that I've never seen dead. Like I've never seen like a fisher cat dead or a porcupine dead. There's a lot of animals that you can't find dead.
They bury their own dead, or
you know. Well, the other theory is that, you know, in the forest, in the woods, the floor of the forest is very acidic, and if you lay a body down there, it will rot quickly. I mean, just because of all the minerals and scavengers and arsenic in the soil and, you know, all that. So it would decompose, you know, quickly. I mean, it's no coincidence that's why murderers hide their bodies out in woods. And when they finally found them, there's nothing left. So, I mean, that's plausible to say. But it's just interesting that all the different, you know, Native Americans all have a Sasquatch in their folklore. And they're very different, but at the same time, they have a lot of similarities.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
See, I picture my Sasquatch wearing a bunch of feathers and be with a drum in the woods, you know, just real nice and, you know, that's just gotta be scary if you run into the woods, you know. I just want a nice Sasquatch.
Right.
Just a big cuddly one. Right?
Well, I don't think there's any records of them actually ever killing anybody or harming anyone. And there's stories of people getting their cabins, like, you know, raided or tents or stuff, you know, rocks being thrown at them and stuff. Again, I mean, how true is it, you know? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a couple of those lesser known shows where there's a bunch of hillbilly guys running around trying to kill Sasquatch.
I love that show. I love those guys. Those guys are awesome. Come on. What is better than hillbillies running around on moonshine with shotguns chasing Sasquatch at night? That, my friends, is entertainment. That is entertainment. Now, they also did an episode on the paranormal I watched just the other night. They went into this house, and they went in this closet, and the guy came out crying, and they said they saw a woman. She was like a monster or something, and she was chasing one of the guys in the cornfield.
It's the moonshine, man.
Yeah, this guy was a big guy, right? They're all big on the show. This is a big guy with a shotgun, and he was howling and running. I mean, he's running faster than me. I mean, that's what I'm telling you, man. Adrenaline. I mean, he was running, just taking down corn stalks, running from this thing.
But these guys are running around the woods with shotgun and AKs, like trying to kill this.
And they're
thing.
still,
Like, oh, it's
and they're
killing
still,
people.
they're scared shitless. Still, they've got automatic weapons, and they're still terrified.
Yeah.
I'd
I'd like to see one of them get torn apart. Finally, Sasquatch kills one of them. It's one of those fucking guys.
It's got to be that old guy with the beard all the way down to here. That's the one that's going to get it.
But
He's going to be the one.
they've got a TV show on a major network, and we don't. So we missed out on something.
Exactly.
Dude, I love finding Bigfoot. Then I came across these guys. I'm like, oh, this is so much better. They find Bigfoot every night. Every night they go out, they find Bigfoot. I mean, this is great. I mean, I'm waiting for them to have an episode like a crossover where they take the guys from fighting Bigfoot with them, give them some shotguns, and come on, boys.
One of my friends out west, she went Sasquatching, and I sent her a voice recording of one of our prayers. I said, if you're, because she had a little bit of trouble with her house and something I had to do on our end of things, and so I helped her with that. And so she's in the middle of the woods with a bunch of other scientists. She said, and she decided, and then there was no sound. She decides to put this on. She goes, she scared the whole group there because all of them suddenly hear speaking out of the blue.
It's like ringing the dinner bell.
Oops.
Yeah.
There's nothing scarier than Indians in the woods. You know what I mean?
I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Hillbillies with shotguns and moonshine with overalls is pretty damn scary, man.
Yeah.
I would rather come across the Indians in the woods than those guys. They'll shoot anybody. They don't care. They really don't care.
There's one investigation, and I don't know if it's disrespectful or not, but I want to try it. There's a place in Groton, Massachusetts, where a family got massacred by Mohawks, and I wanna be sent in there as like, not like bait or
The liaison.
yeah, like see if they're still mad.
Well, you'll know.
Right?
You were there.
You'll-
Yeah, so.
So we need to connect sometime and do an investigation together. You know what I mean?
without a doubt.
You guys were like, with Kevin. I mean, Kevin was giving us some amazing stuff and telling us the information and the guidance that you gave him, and he shared it with the people that we're working with, and they were actually getting results from it. I mean, Kevin stayed right on top of that case. I mean, he was like on top of it all the time. But then I think they told us they started some stuff, then they just stopped it.
Then they started it back up again when it started.
Right. But they have to understand that once you start that, you got to keep that stuff going.
Yeah.
Right.
How
Exactly.
often do you guys run into cases where what's your specialty or it has something to do with that?
Well,
To your-
pretty much around here,
all the time.
all the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because that's like not the main focus around here, but that's what's prevalent around
The
here.
area,
And
yeah.
I found when I first met everybody, and they were like, "Oh, that Native American stuff's so taboo," and I'm like, "How?" I didn't understand.
Right.
We went
Oh
there.
my God!
We went there.
How did
No,
you
he went
walk
there.
right into that?
That's terrible.
Well, then it sounds to me, since you guys had success at Rolling Hills, we should probably meet you at Rolling Hills. That's a big
right.
place. We can really
that is
spread
a
out.
big-
That's a
that's a
big
mandate.
place. I've said
I
that
am
like
down
20
for it.
times. I'm sorry, but I was just amazed. It's like you see a Volkswagen, you open the door, go in, and it's like a mansion inside. It was just that kind of thing, you know. So
I'm definitely down for that for the summer. If you want to set it up, then
yeah, we should do that. We should definitely connect and shoot a little
I don't
film.
have a job, so I don't have a job, so I'm down for anytime you want to go.
And I pretty
Nice.
much follow him.
Yeah, we could actually film it, and some stuff. So yeah, that'd be great. So I think Todd's giving us
like 6 months.
the signal that we need to
Well,
wrap
before we
up
go-
here. Yeah.
Before we go, I was talking to my dad, and he does want to do an interview with you guys sometime. Like have him on the show sometime.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Because
cool.
His story is what got us into the paranormal. Like the things that happened to him. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
So he definitely wants to come on and speak with you guys. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be
for
awesome.
Sure, for sure. So setting that up right after this.
Oh yeah, man,
Sounds good.
that's great.
Yeah.
And it was so great. It's so great that we bumped into you guys all those years ago at ScareCon, right?
Yeah.
ScareCon.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, it is R.I.P.
Guys, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We got to wrap it up.
Thanks for having us, man.
It's always great having you here. I really want to connect with you guys. We'll get on an investigation together in the future. Again, thank you so much.
Yep.
For all
Yeah,
my
thanks
viewers
for-
at
thanks for
home, for all viewers at home, March 6th is going to be the next episode of Agent Paranormal. We'll be talking metaphysical. We'll have a special guest, Anthony DeCito is planning to be on there.
And we have an event too coming up in March,
Yes, we have the Fulton County Museum event.
March
That's
12th.
March 12th?
March 12th.
Is that a ticketed event, or is
Yes, it is. It's for the Fulton County Museum, and the tickets are on sale. They're on Facebook, and all the proceeds go to the museum. It's very beneficial for them to help keep the heat on, keep the lights on through the winter. And usually when we do an event there, it's usually packed. It's like 3 floors, a basement. It's a great place. So, yeah, if you guys have got nothing to do, be our special guests. Be our special guests and come down.
All right. Well,
Awesome.
Chris, Aaron, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time on Agent Paranormal.
See you.
We'll scare you later.
all right, see you later.
Peace.